Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris. This is the Just Flight Hawk T1 in red arrows livery. We're loaded up on runway 33 at Salzburg in Austria. ICAO code Lima Oscar Whiskey Sierra. The weather is glorious, the aircraft is red, and you can tell from that we're going to be flying some aerobatics today. Okay, welcome back to the cockpit. If you've seen my previous videos, you'll know that I've done a few on how to fly an ILS and also cold and dark and pattern procedures. So if you haven't seen those, please check those out. There'll be a link in the description below, and I'll try and put a tile up on the video. Also, don't forget, if you find this video useful, hit the like button. It's very much appreciated. Even better, hit the subscribe button so that you'll stay up to date with the latest video releases. I'm hoping to produce at least once a week, maybe even twice, time permitting. Okay, so here we are, basic setup. You can see from the cold and dark how to set up the aircraft. Extra things I've done in preparation for this sortie is I've set the altimeter to give me 0 on the runway, and I'm going to aim to do a base altitude of 200 feet AGL. So if I fly 200 on the altimeter, because 0 is ground level here, and 200 feet will therefore be 200 feet above ground level. Other things I've set up is the course bar is on the runway, so that if I'm upside down or I can't see the runway, I know my orientation to it. Other things I'll draw your attention to during the sortie with the G-meter, because that's very important for pulling up into the manoeuvres in order to produce consistent results. The AI is going to be useful in terms of nose down attitude, and also if you can't use track IR like I'm using, perhaps you're on the Xbox for instance, then the AI is going to be fairly useful in terms of keeping wings level over the top of manoeuvres. Let's get this show on the road. .120 knots liftoff, gear, flat. Gears up, flaps up by 200 knots. I'm looking to accelerate the aircraft and teardrop back round to the runway centerline. Okay, running in for the loop. I want 200 feet on the altimeter. I want 300 knots. I'm looking for the center point of the runway. 300 knots. Trim for 300 knots. That'll keep the maneuvers simple once you've completed them. And 92% RPM. Here's the center point up to the loop. Look at the G-meter. There's 4G. And look left and right. Keep the back pressure to keep 4G. Listen for the light buffet. Hold the light buffet, look over the top for the line feature. Altimeter, 3,200 feet is sufficient, keeping the backstick pressure. As the speed increases, the G will increase. As you get to 4G, ease off the back pressure and adjust for speed and altitude. 200 feet, 300 knots. Here we are running in for the Aileron Roll. This will probably involve about 85% to hold the speed. Speed brake out for 300 knots. You can do it faster if you like. And here we go. I'll pitch 5 degrees nose up, roll, anticipate, and then adjust as required. I'll slow down a little bit, but you can add power as you need to. Inverted flight, I'm going to aim for about 350, about 87 to 89% RPM, 200 feet AGL, and I'm looking to go inverted with about 2 degrees nose up. I'll pitch up to 5, roll inverted, anticipate, look at the AI, 2 degrees nose up, and look at my altimeter. It's fairly steady. To complete, I'll push nose forwards, roll, and then complete my exit from the runway. On this run in, we're going to go for the Cuban 8. So here we go, about 300 knots, about 92%, and up we go. Looking at the G meter, 4G, power's set, keep pulling back pressure, light buffet, hold it, looking for the line feature. As we come down, looking at the AI, get 40 degrees nose down, roll the correct way up, and hold that nose down attitude. Power back to achieve 300 knots by the time we finish, and 1500 feet. That's probably a lot less, to be honest. Back to 200 feet and 300 knots AGL. Cuban 8 again, 92%, pulling nose up, 4G. Back pressure for the light buffet. There's the light buffet. 3,000 feet over the top, looking at the AI, looking for 40 degrees, roll. I can pick something on the ground to aim at. I'll hold it. 1500 feet, back to 1000 feet, and back pressure to achieve your 200 feet base height. This next one is going to be a roll off the top. So you want 350 knots, 200 AGL, and again 92% RPM works. Power set, speed's good, up we go. Again, look at the G meter, about 5G for this one because we're faster. Keep the back pressure, look for the line feature. Canopy bow hits the horizon, I'm going to roll out. You can see my only reference now is my course bar because I can't see the runway. The view's epic from up here. I've got 4,000 feet, I'll pitch the nose up to about 20 degrees, I'll roll upside down, I'll keep the power set where it is, look for my line feature and pull. Light buffet initially. And then I've got plenty of altitude in hand, I'll play the last part of the manoeuvre to achieve my 200 AGL and the speed as I need to for the next manoeuvre. Okay, the next manoeuvre is going to be a vertical roll. For this you want 400 knots, starting from 200 AGL, and we'll do a 5G pull up into the vertical. We'll use 92% RPM again. Parameters are good, up we go. Look at the G meter, that's too much G, that's 5G. Okay, let's mute that for a moment. So I'm now in the vertical. For those of you using AI, this will start to process, i.e. once you're pointing straight up, the gyros, it's got to stop. So it doesn't actually represent the perfect attitude or the perfect roll rate. So the only way you'll get accurate at a vertical roll is to look outside. So we pitch straight to nose up, so that's cool. We know we're wings level versus the runway, albeit we're slightly off. You can see behind, that works out about right. For here, I'm going to roll to the right. So I'm going to pick a feature which is here. Big mountains, and the sun, to be fair, is an excellent feature. So I'm going to roll right, which means the sun will go beneath the aircraft. I'm going to keep rolling. That sun will go round underneath. It will pitch up here, and I'll follow it across. As it gets towards my left wing again, I'll stop the roll. At that point, I'll apply back pressure, light buffet, and I'll pitch back towards the runway. I'll hold nose down to 3,000 feet, and then I'll pull out as per a loop. So let's see if this works. I'll put the sound back on, and yes, he'll be G-straining. Stand by. Rolling right, sun, sun, stop, and pull. That worked out nicely. I'm going to point straight down, roll to the left, 3,000 feet, and pulling out like a loop. Ease the back pressure, pull the power as required to maintain your 200 AGL and your speed. Yeah, that looks like the end of my sequence. Low fuel. So let's run it down the runway. And we'll brake left. I know I started on the reciprocal runway, but we're here now, so let's do this. Below 200, air brake in, light is out. Gear, flat mid, threshold speed, we're looking at a 112. .45 degrees, I'm looking back left, I'm going to pitch into final, and the flap is travelling to down. Hold the power where it is, 45 degree bank at least, let it come around the corner. Speed is increasing, so I'll pull the power back. Looking to roll out 2 reds, 2 whites. 1 red, 140 knots. 2 reds, 130 knots. Adjusting to the threshold. 112 is the speed I'm after. Idle, flare. Well, if you're still with me, thanks for sticking around. I hope this has been interesting, informative, and maybe even slightly enjoyable. So if you're still here, please hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, then hit the subscribe. If there's anything you'd like to see specifically or any questions that you have, please put those in the comments section below. Check out the description. I'll put useful links and tips in there. And until the next time, fly safe and take care.